In today's video, I'm going to be going over my build for the Three Blind Mice Vantastic build. Unfortunately, I never got this one done in time just because I had problems doing the paint work, which I'll get onto later on in the video. So I started this with a Hot Wheels wheelie popper because it had the body of a Reliant Robin, and I wanted to build a post-apocalyptic version of the Only Fools and Horses van, which is a Reliant Robin. For those who never saw the show, this was a popular show in the UK that centered around two brothers, Delboy and Rodney Trotter, as they kind of wheel and deal their way into making a lot of money. And usually involved them buying goods off of their friends who own trucks. Hence, it fell off the back of a truck. And then when they got the goods, their mates would take off on another delivery. And they would be left with goods that they'd only just found out were faulty in somewhere. So that's where the comedy came from. Like, they'd buy a bunch of goods that were obviously stolen, but they'd also have some kind of fault with them. Either they'd be all instruction manuals would be in another language or something, or just something was wrong with them and they had to fix it or try and work around. They were either broken or something like that. But it was a fun show. As usual, here's the die-cast broken apart so you can see what I had to work with. Funnily, I noticed if you switch the body around on the chassis, you got this kind of interesting looking build, which would be definitely something I'd have to try next time I find another one of these castings to give a go, just because it looks kind of funny with the four wheels. Here we are with the final build. Initially, I was planning to have the front wheel a bit further forward, but because it just being a bit longer would make it a little bit stabler, I thought. But also it kind of made me think the wheel was a bit too exposed there on the front, so I kind of brought it back in to the body line. So first I cut out a section of the chassis just to make room for the wheel, because the original wheel at the front is just casted on. And used a bit of styrene tubing for the axle. For the wheel I used a 19mm Zing Industries Arc motorbike wheel, or Arc motorbike spike and teeth wheel. As for the driver, I used a North Star's Military Figures Implements of Carnage figure from the Gasland sprue. The rear wheel, I used a Zing Industries 19mm road wheel, which again I used some styrene tubing for the axle for this. I also added the machine guns, which are again from North Star Miniatures Implements of Carnage sprue, and a scratch built spoiler. Here we are with the final paint job. Now originally I did intend to put the Trotters logo on the side of the van, but this just became a nightmare, just because it's just a small surface to paint on and I couldn't paint that small. Initially I tried to put it on the little quarter where the original logo is on the original van, but it just wouldn't fit, and then I decided to go with like a racing livery with it across the whole side of the van, but again that didn't work, and each time it didn't work I'd have to strip the paint, and just constantly strip the body of the paint, repaint it, and then repaint the logo, make a mess of it, strip it, and it just kept killing my motivation, and each time it just took longer and longer, till eventually I just decided there was no way I was going to be able to paint it on, and I'd have to use some decals at some point, so I just painted it yellow, and hopefully in the future I'll either find some place where I can get custom decals made, or I'll be able to make my own custom decals and just add the logo in through decals, but until then I'm just going to leave it yellow. So overall I still enjoyed the build, other than the hiccup with the paint job and the logo. Really wish I could do something about that, but at the moment it's just beyond my skill. And I just want to get this one finished and move on to the next project really. As usual, it'll be a nice little slideshow of the glamour shots. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.